Hi everybody, welcome to or welcome back to Silver Lining. On today's episode, we're getting into a little bit of a serious topic, but it is a topic that I believe in and I know will help others heal and not feel alone. And it is narcissistic abuse. I am very familiar with narcissistic abuse. I was raised by a narcissist. So I want to tell you a little bit about my childhood and this abuse, and be a testimony that it really does get better and you can get your spark back. So let's get into a little bit of my childhood. So I was raised by a narcissist, a single mother. And with narcissists, they don't have the ability to hold space for anybody but themselves. They only see their own emotions. They are in their own world and they don't care about how others feel. And as a child, you need to be nurtured, cared for, and supported and encouraged, and I simply never was. It was up to me to fill my own cup while getting beat down and abused, and it was very difficult, you guys. It made me like a shell of myself. I was so insecure and scared all the time. My mom's emotions were all over the place all of the time, and she would take out her emotions on me and beat me down so she could feel better about herself. Something with narcissists is that they will beat you down and project their own insecurities onto you so you feel the same way that they feel. They only feel good when they make you feel less than you are. And something about narcissists is that they pick on the person with the brightest light because they have the most to take from that person. And I was the person with the brightest light in my family. I have an older brother, and this is no offense to him. I love him so much, but he was very weak and just did everything my mom told him to do. And I was the one that didn't conform. Therefore, I was always getting the most abuse. And anytime she would go after him, I would take it instead. I didn't want him to get hurt. I wanted to protect him and myself, and it was exhausting. You know, my mom put these unrealistic expectations on me from a very young age to be perfect in all areas of my life. With school, I had to get straight A's. With my appearance, I had to be thin. I had to dress a certain way. With my mannerisms, I had to talk the way she wanted me to talk. Like, it was exhausting, you guys. It was so exhausting. And I would try to look my best, be my best, do my best. And it was never enough. It was never enough. And, you know, you want to impress your parents as a child. And I was like, what if I do more, be better, prove myself? Then my mom will acknowledge me. If I get the grades, if I get into the school she wants me to get into, if I have the job she wants me to get into, then I will be acknowledged. Surprise! I was never acknowledged. I did all of the things she wanted me to do, and still it was never good enough. Narcissists use you to fill a void within them. And the thing is, nobody can fill a void inside of you but yourself. Fun fact. So it never worked. And, you know, she would hold everything over my head. You know, my mom had a lot of money growing up, so she would hold these nice designer things or expensive trips over my head and be like, well, I'm going to give you this, but you have to do this for it. I'm going to do something nice to you, but I'm going to take it away from you if you don't act exactly the way I want you to act. And just that cat and mouse game of, oh, is she going to take it from me? Like, it was this sense of control over me. And there came a point in my life where I didn't care about the material things anymore. It just didn't matter. Like, you could take whatever from me. I don't care. I'm going to be myself. And she hated that. She hated who I was. That's what it was. She hated who I was. And made sure I knew it. And it really took a toll on my confidence and my self-esteem. And I remember this time in my childhood, my mom told me I needed fat taken out of my ankles at like 8 years old and Botox in my forehead. And that made me so insecure. I was already insecure with my body because I would emotionally eat as a kid, and for her to tell me that I needed fat taken out of my ankles and Botox at such a young age, it just instilled this body dysmorphia in me. And she would always comment on my weight, that I needed to lose weight, that I didn't look good enough. And I was a child. Like, what? What do you mean? It was just crazy. And I know that she felt that way about herself. Therefore, she wanted to put that shame and guilt onto me. Narcissists want you to feel the way they feel, and they feel empty and they don't love themselves. They actually hate themselves, so they want you to hate yourself. And I got to that point. I mean, I got to a point where I needed to numb every insecurity and numb how I felt. So I started to experiment with drugs, and this was the only escape from the abuse I had at home, was a drug. And it started with weed, then it turned into pills, and that was my only sense of security in my childhood. And it makes me sad for that version of myself, because what is a child doing, numbing themselves to not want to, do something where they're not going to be alive anymore? So it was really, really bad, you guys. It was all consuming. I was so scared as a kid. I was always scared of messing up or doing the wrong thing. I would literally walk around with like my shoulders glued to my ears. Anytime my mom's door would slam, I would jump, because I knew when she would come out of that door, she would come into my room and scream at me and beat me down. And she was never really physical with me. She did like drag me by my hair once and pour soap down my throat because I said something wrong. But besides that, it was emotional. And I don't mean to laugh, I just laugh a little bit when I'm uncomfortable. So it was a lot of emotional abuse, that I would never be good enough, that, there's no hope for me, that I'm just like my father. She would compare me to people and things that she hated in life. And it took a lot for me to rebuild my confidence. I moved out at 17, and I'm 29 now. And just this past year have I really, really gotten a grip on this abuse and overcome it, and realized that it never had anything to do with me. It had everything to do with her. I was a child trying my best and doing my best and having a great heart, and that's good enough. If you're in a narcissistic relationship right now and on the receiving end of this narcissistic abuse, I want you to know that you are good enough. You are good enough on your own, okay? You don't need to prove yourself to anyone or anything in this life to be worthy. You are good enough on your own. And that's what I realized. I had to fill my own cup back up after all these years of abuse and find my worth again and feel better about myself on my own. And it took me separating myself from that environment. I would not be able to heal if I didn't remove myself out of the environment. And there was a lot of trials and tribulations that I dealt with after moving out, but that is for a different day. It's too much to put in one video. But the way I accepted what has happened to me is, one, knowing I never deserved it, and two, the way people treat you shows a lot about themselves and nothing about you. If you're being a good person and trying your best, that's all you could do in life. And if somebody has something negative to say about that, listen, it's an insecurity on their part. It has nothing to do with you. So I realized that I was trying my best from a good place in my heart, and that is enough. And I started to slowly get my spark back after I moved out. It took a while, and there are still things to this day that trigger me and make me not feel good enough, but I reclaimed my own power. And I want to let you know that it is up to you to reclaim your own power after this abuse. And I know that it's hard, but you can do it. It does get better, but it's up to us to reclaim our own power and our self-worth and use the abuse to our advantage. Something I've always said is I had the perfect example of what not to be and how to not treat people from the way I was raised. And I suffered in silence a lot of my life, and this chapter of my life is about healing out loud and putting it all on the table in hopes to help others and for me to heal along the way. So my heart just goes out to you if you are dealing with a narcissist. My best advice is to go no contact with them. I am no contact with my mom now. When I moved out, she cut me off emotionally, financially, all of it. She didn't talk to me for 8 years because she was so angry that I chose myself. And about a year ago, she texted me for my birthday, wanted to go out to dinner, and I said yes. And we went out to dinner, and my mom couldn't walk. She is addicted to a drug. I'm not going to say it on YouTube, but she's addicted to drugs, and her life has completely fallen apart. She sadly is getting the karma that she deserves from how she abused me and my brother and everybody around her. And I'm just so happy that I never let the abuse turn me into hurt. I went the complete opposite direction. And this is something important that I want to say. Do not turn into the person that abused you. Be better. And know that they only abused you because they see something in you that they want and that triggers them, and that they know they can never be or have. And that is a good heart, good spirit, and genuine power. Okay? So know that you are stronger than you think, and that it does get better. It does. And you can love yourself again after this. I promise you, you will get to a point where you forgive them for what they did to you, and you learn from it, and you never repeat it again. And I'm finally at that point in my life where I do completely forgive my mom. I'm actually really grateful for everything I've been through, because it led me to this journey of helping others and speaking my truth and not being ashamed of who I am authentically at all. I used to be very ashamed of who I was as a child, because anytime I would try to express myself in an authentic way, I would be shut down. I would be bullied about it. And now I'm at a point in my life where I love being myself. I love who I am. I love my heart. I love my soul. I love the way I love others. I love the way that I accept all people. You know, my mom didn't accept me, nor anybody I chose to hang out with. She passed so much judgment on everybody around her, and I never absorbed that. I choose to love everybody and see people as they are and not judge them. I don't know. I just don't have that in my heart or my spirit to judge anybody. I'm not God. Who am I to judge? So I just want to let you guys know that you can get to a point of truly loving yourself. And I know that if you've been in a narcissistic, abusive relationship, it is very hard to forgive those people, but forgive them for you. Do not give them any more energy or time. Block them. Don't see them anymore. And learn to love yourself again. Fill your own cup again. Fill your own cup instead of trying to appease them or think, oh, what are they going to think about this? Doesn't matter. They never took your feelings into consideration. Therefore, it is time to stop taking their feelings into consideration. Separate yourself and live your best life. And I promise you, it does get better, okay? You will heal. You are so much stronger than you think. I promise you. I hope this helped at least one person. It's hard for me to kind of get into these topics and talk about them, but I will get better. So if you stay to the end of the video, please subscribe, learn a little bit more about me, and I will continue to tell my story, and hopefully you guys learn from it. I love you so much. I will see you on the next episode. Bye.